Hello and welcome to Patina Nation's webinar, The Power Formula for LinkedIn Success. I'm your producer, Jeci Casperson, Community Manager at Patina. We're so happy so many of you could join us from across the US. A few housekeeping items at the bottom of your screen. Your controls should look something like this. Bottom left-hand corner are the settings. If you can hear me, you're all set. You have a chat tool, a raise your hand tool, and a Q&A tool at the bottom today. I won't ask you to raise your hand. If you can hear me, then you're all good. I won't ask you to raise your hand, so if you have questions to ask our speaker, just simply use the Q&A tool right next to that, and that's where we'll handle all questions and comments. We'll have the speaker address any of those questions as time allows, but feel free to reply to other people's questions. You can upvote questions that you'd like to hear answered by simply clicking on the thumbs up below the question. That signals to us which questions are most popular. If you haven't downloaded Zoom and are using the browser version, you may not have access to all of today's features, but you should be able to watch and listen. If you have any technical questions, please use the chat tool to communicate with our production team. Please do not use the chat tool to communicate with our speaker. At the top of the window, you'll also find view options that you can change how you're viewing today's presentation. Today's event is being recorded and a replay will be available in the coming days. Please watch for a post-event survey, and if you complete it, it will help us continually improve for future events to make Patina Nation even stronger and richer for all of you. With that, I turn the event over to Mike Harris, CEO of Patina Solutions.
Thanks, Jesse. It's great to have everybody with us today. I want to thank you for joining us to learn about how to maximize the use of LinkedIn for success. So I thought I'd take a moment and just a very brief overview about what is Patina Nation. It's really part of Patina Solutions, our company, and it's an excellent and awesome collection of talent that spans industries and geographies and business functions. The vision for Patina Nation is to be the best online talent community for the independent executives of both today and tomorrow. And our mission is to help make you the best and most successful independent executive you can be. And that's whether you're working for yourself, working for Patina, or even working for our competitors. And the nation includes independent executives by career choice. This is what you're doing for a living, or those who may be an independent executive on a temporary basis, and even executives who are working in companies who may become an independent executive soon. And professionals from all industries are welcome. We have a lot of experts with C-suite background, vice president level folks, directors and senior managers. The key is most of our people have at least 25 years of experience. There's no charge to join, become a member in Patina Nation, and it includes professional development opportunities like today's program. We have several different ways to make money with us. We have potential projects and engagements where you would be working for our clients. We are continuing to build more benefits for independent executives. And we also provide business support services, things like an IT help desk for you. We have some exciting Patina lifestyle offerings coming up. And then we have marketing tools and resources, and Wayne will talk a little bit about LinkedIn as a marketing resource. And last but not least, the ability for you to connect to other independent executives like yourself. So if you're not already a member of Patina Nation, we would really appreciate it if you would sign up and join with us at patinanation.com. Again, no charge to do that. So at this point, I want to introduce and welcome Wayne Breitbarth to the show. I've known Wayne for many years. He was actually featured in a book that I did about career 180s. And with that, I'll turn it over to Wayne.
Mike, thanks so much for having me today. It's really fun to be able to collaborate with a friend that we've known over the years, right? And then to be able to come together and bring this webinar today to the masses. I mean, I'm really impressed by this crowd. So for those people who are already part of the, let's call it the Wayne Breitbarth Nation, we don't have an official name, but that's what we are. Thanks for joining. As you know, I I don't do a lot of webinars or broadcasts like this. I tend to have a lot of corporate stuff that I do, but a lot of people follow me on my weekly tips, and we're connected on LinkedIn. So I look forward to this opportunity once in a while to be able to give back and be part of this. And it's because I've got the Patina team here helping me pull this off. So I thank them, but I thank you for showing up. And I know that this is not going to be your typical webinar where there's about 20% of content and 80% sales. It's going to be a lot the reverse and more of content. So I was telling these guys beforehand that, well, do we have an hour and a half? No, wait, you've got 45 minutes of presentation time, because I get so excited about the chance that I get to share with you some of the great things going on LinkedIn, and maybe give you just at least a handful of aha moments. So let's get started. Let's get into this thing. And I think what a great time for us to be having this event, because we're sitting here in December and we're all getting ready for 2019. And there's no better time than the end of the year to start thinking about how could I use LinkedIn next year in ways that I haven't been using it this way? What things am I not doing on LinkedIn that if I did, I could have just a fantastic 2019? So I'm going to break down my presentation into sort of two halves. The first half being where we're going to spend time on doing LinkedIn searches and connection ideas. And then we'll take just a little bit of break so I can grab a water, and we'll have some other information for you during the break. And after the break, we'll come back with profile optimization techniques, and be sure not to miss that, because boy, have we had a lot of changes as it relates to your profile format. So I've got some really good sort of hidden hacks and workarounds for certain things that are taking place. And then I'm going to close up after we're done with profile with going through the jobs tab on LinkedIn. I think it's important to look at the jobs tab, because that has been changing as well. And it's a critical tab, especially for those of you who are either job seekers or considering, or maybe you're just always maybe wanting an upgrade. And the last thing is we'll do time management. I'm going to spend a few minutes with you on what are the most important things that you should be doing on LinkedIn periodically, every few days, that kind of thing. So let's get right into it. I'm excited to start off with talking about searching capabilities on LinkedIn. And by the way, I'm using live LinkedIn. For those who know me well, I love to use live LinkedIn and not slides, because I think it's more impactful for you. And plus you'll have this beautiful recording. So you'll be able to, if I'm talking too fast, you can pause me when you get the recording. I think you'll love that part of it. But the other reason I like live LinkedIn is because it's always changing. Like this morning, I did a presentation in Chicago, and one of the things that was there yesterday had been moved. So we know that LinkedIn changes often, and as a 60-year-old business person, I wish it was not the case. But so live LinkedIn will help us do just that. So let's get into the whole searching thing. But I want to start with this. And I'm approaching today's event two ways: as job seekers, that either job seekers that are official or even stealth job seekers, and from a consulting sort of grow your business standpoint. And I'll show you techniques for using LinkedIn both ways. And so I'm going to try to address both those audiences, because I think that's pretty much what we got between my list and the Patino Nation group too. So searching on LinkedIn, the critical part about searching on LinkedIn is it's not as easy as people think, because LinkedIn doesn't make it very easy. So I'm going to start with showing you a homepage. So this is your homepage. Okay. So from the homepage, most people use the search box at the top, and it works pretty well only for names and company names. Other than that, the search box gets very confused when you try to put in multiple things like names of people and location, or location and company name. So I like to always get to the meat of the search engine, and you get there by putting your cursor in the search box, clicking people, and then notice that we have now gained a new toolbar just by doing that. By the way, everything I'm showing you is free LinkedIn. I should have said that earlier. Nothing I'm going to show you today requires a premium account. The next step you take after this white toolbar shows up, you click all filters, and now you're into the meat of LinkedIn. And as far as I'm concerned, I wish this screen would come down green, sort of the color of money, right? If it came down the color of money, we'd all know, yeah, we're in the right place. The green screen came up. I know it. But it's not. But just sort of think that as you start using this. And if you haven't been to this page, you're missing it. Because this is the page that gets you from 600 million people down to the perfect list for you. And that's what LinkedIn is, after all, a database of business professionals like we've never had before, but you got to know how to use these filters to make the thing work for you. So if let's say I'm a consultant and I sell HR consulting services. And typically when I meet with decision makers at companies, the people that hire me, people that make the decision to hire me as a consultant, maybe it's the CEO and the top HR person. Okay, that's your target audience. That's where you have to start on LinkedIn, is defining who am I trying to get hold of. And in this case, I said it was president and the top HR person at a company. When we do searches, though, you have to think past those two terms into what other terms do people use when they call themselves presidents or CEOs. They might use founder. They might, same with HR. The top HR person could be VP of HR, director of HR, CHRO. So you've got to realize that if you don't educate yourself and start to get better and better at the kinds of titles, then you're not going to do this searching well. So let's do a search. Let's say I'm looking for those kinds of folks, and I'm going to search by location. By the way LinkedIn handles location is everybody's in a major city. And you say to yourself, well, I live in the middle of nowhere. Well, LinkedIn puts you somewhere. And you'll figure out where the somewhere is either by looking at your profile because you selected the somewhere, or go into your own profile and see where you put your zip code in, and it threw you in a certain area, probably the closest major metropolitan area, but not always the closest. So I'm going to do Milwaukee, and I'm going to search. I'll stick just with the HR thing at this point, but you'll get the feel for how you can look for either. So I'm going to look for VP HR or CHRO or director of HR. Okay, hit apply. Boom. 354 people come back. Perfect titles. A list like, trust me, prior to LinkedIn, how would you have gotten that? Like nowhere, right? So what a tool. And every time I do one of these, especially when I'm in front of clients and people that haven't used the filters, and they go, oh my gosh, I've been on LinkedIn for 10 years. How did I not know that? I don't know, because somebody didn't show you the 3 or 4 clicks it took to get through there. It's not as intuitive as we need it to be. But look how neat that list is. Okay, now, so this list would be a great list for the target audience I'm thinking about. But also start to think about this. For you job seekers who are in this space, think about, there's a certain order about this list, isn't there? And Jennifer and Lisa and Pamela happen to be the first 3 in the order, and somebody's number 342 and 344 and 345. And we'll talk about that ordering when I move into, we'll talk about the ordering when I move into the keyword searching thing and how you're going to optimize your profiles. But part of this is about these people get to the top for a certain reason, and there's some things that you can do. So keep that in mind. Do not leave after the break, and make sure you don't understand how the keywords work on this. So now, we got this beautiful list, and if I'm in that space of, I sell these HR consulting services, and this is half of my decision-making group, what would I do? Well, if you're already connected to somebody, you can message them, and I would highly recommend you do that. Trust me, that part frustrates me a lot on LinkedIn, that many people have these huge, beautiful networks, but they never go back to them. They keep wanting more. And I go, why don't you once in a while go do this search and go click first degree and just pull up the list of all the people you've already connected to and reach out to them and reintroduce yourself and talk about your new products and say, hey, we haven't got together for a long time, or maybe never, and make something happen. Don't always think that you got to add more, like I say, baseball cards. I'm going to add more people on LinkedIn because that's how I'm going to win the game. Well, there's no prize for that. The prize is, did we meet somebody? Did we get a phone call? Did we build a new relationship? And did we ultimately have and do something together, right? And so message first degree, that's important. But now let's just talk about if we want to actually meet somebody. So if I wanted to send a connection, a communication to Lisa, she's a second degree. You notice the connect button's there, and I can connect with her. Now, should you? Well, I don't know. I mean, you got to think through this. And it's probably as simple as this. After looking at Lisa's profile, if you say to yourself, you know what? It would be great to meet her. Then you should do it. Because understand, what's the box that shows up to the right of her name? It says connect. It doesn't say leave me alone. I'm sitting over in the corner. I don't want to be bothered. It says connect. So I think you have to go, hey, she must want to meet me. The box says connect. And as I'm starting to tell people that, they might think it's sort of comical, but it makes so much. If she didn't want to be connected with, guess what? She could set her settings up that way. She could set her settings, but she hasn't. So evidently she wants to meet me because I'm here. So, but here's the critical part of the step, and most people are missing this, is that you have to always send a connection request. I mean, you always have to personalize invitation. So don't hit the connect button from here. Spend time on Lisa's profile, then hit the connect button, and then always hit add a note. And you've got 300 characters to craft a reason and make it clear with Lisa why it would make sense for the two of you to collaborate and get together virtually first and hopefully maybe someday in person. Okay, so that's called advanced people searching. There is no better feature on LinkedIn than that in general. And in order to use advanced people searching, you just have to go through those couple of steps and open up all your filters. So I got 2 more search mechanisms that I want to show you on LinkedIn. The next one I want to show you is this one. It's in the advanced filter section. It's called Connections Oven. Oh my goodness. You talk about a feature that's hot. Here's what Connections Of is. Your ability to find these exact people you're looking for, in this case, the HR people in Milwaukee, but into one person's network. So here's how you'd use it. We all do probably regular old networking, right? We go to networking events and we set up appointments with friends. And what we fail to do is do our homework. The homework would be like, let's say I was going to meet with Mike and I'm looking for other business owners and leaders of sales organizations because I could help them with LinkedIn. Before I have that meeting with Mike, I would do a search by VPs of sales and CEOs and presidents in Milwaukee, but I would put his name in this box. And when his name comes up on this box, I click it. Then LinkedIn only brings me back those people under the search criteria that I've listed that are in his network. Now, it's sort of like this. Now, I'm going to date myself. For those of you who are younger, you may not know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to date myself with, this is like spinning through his Rolodex, but much more efficient than going click, 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 click. Because that's one at a time. And I go, well, I got to find the presidents and I got to find the ones in Milwaukee. This is sort of tedious. LinkedIn goes, hold the phone. Just put the filters in, click on Mike's name, and up comes a list of 6 to 10 people. Oh, so I call this, LinkedIn calls this filter Connections Of, I call it the referral box. Or sort of like the Northwestern Mutual box. And everybody from Milwaukee knows what that means. Or anybody that's a Northwestern Mutual guys are wonderful at getting referrals. Well, this box is that box. This is the one that instead of that you having to go, hey, you know anybody that would be interesting to me? Which nobody likes to be asked that question. You go, hey, I found these 5 or 6 people in your network. Can we just have a quick chat about these people and see it maybe? Now, that's one of the handouts you got today. I gave you guys one of my very best resources for this very step. And it's a step-by-step guide for getting referrals from LinkedIn. First page is the steps. So you didn't even have to take good notes. They're right here. And then the second page is the exact script that you use to talk to your friends. I'm telling you, my friends, if you start using that before meetings with people that love you, care about you, and are willing to give you referrals, and you're respectful to them, doing this instead of just the open-ended question, I think it's the essence of LinkedIn. I think it's the essence of LinkedIn for us to be able to use a filter like this because we already have friends that probably know people we need to meet. So have fun with this one. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. For job seekers, for those of us that are in the consulting world, it's a game changer. So take advantage of that too. Now, item number 3, and I'm trying to show you also things that are a little bit hard to find and that you might not have run into, is this one. So this is the university page. I pulled up Marquette's because it's one of the schools I went to. How do you get to the university page? You simply just click on, you put the name of the school in the box here, and when it comes up, you just click the school and up comes the school page. Now, here's the point in searching and connecting that I think you're just going to love. Scroll down to the word alumni. And in this case, there's 81,000 alums or current students. And you can filter these 81,000 people by where they live, where they work, what they do, what they studied, keywords in this box, dates in this box. And once you click through and say, so let's say, for example, I'm interested in people in Milwaukee, and I'm interested in people that are engineers. So I open up a few more, I got the engineers. Then up comes a list of all the engineers that live in Milwaukee that went to Marquette, and they come up on this beautiful list. And look what's happening. It says message under the ones I'm already messaged to, so it's a reminder you, hey, talk to them. But then it's connect on the other ones. Notice it doesn't say don't connect. It says, I wish LinkedIn would almost say these buttons say, please connect, Mike. If it said, please connect, Mike, oh, I guess I'm supposed to do this, aren't I? Instead of, well, I don't know, what do I do with these people? And this is a wonderful feature on LinkedIn. And during the Q&A, if somebody has any questions on sort of search limitations that sometimes pop up on LinkedIn, this does not have a problem with any of the LinkedIn search limitations. So I sort of call this a freebie. So this is number 3. So the 3 search things I showed you. I showed advanced people search. I showed you referral search. That's the connections of the connections of box. And this is the alumni feature. And I want you to just, my closing remarks on this part of the presentation is this. Whenever we see a list of people on LinkedIn, like this list, I want you to look at the faces and think to yourself, what do most faces have in common? Smiling. Most of them are smiling. And I usually typically ask my audience this, so why do you think these folks are smiling? And they go, well, because they got a job, or because they work at a good company, or because they're supposed to smile because of their LinkedIn profile. I said, no, you know what? It's none of those things. And I'll say, what? None of those things? I'll say, it's this. They're smiling because they're about to meet you, right? They're smiling because they're about to meet you. And I know that gets a big chuckle out of the audience, but the point is, that's what LinkedIn is for, my friends. LinkedIn is for this purpose. We have been on LinkedIn long enough now, most of us 6 to 10 years, that it's time to get serious, it's time to be strategic, and it's time to recognize that it's clearly a networking tool that's built for the purpose of you meeting people virtually, and then ultimately, hopefully, meeting them in the ways that were traditional, getting meetings, phone calls, or whatever. Will you get every connection you ask for? No, because you don't know that person's connection request. But I'm going to leave you with this. You will get a profile view. So by doing what we're doing today, think about this, especially you job seekers. By going to people's profiles who you're interested in maybe working for, they might look at your profile because you either looked at theirs or sent them a connection request. And people looking at your profile who are decision makers, that is, you know what I call that? That's a marketing event. What was the budget on that marketing event? 0. What a tool. Okay, so hopefully that's going to get you excited. Rewatch the replay if I went a little fast for you. I'm sorry because, as you know, I just want to show you so much stuff today in the limited time we have. But I'd like to just stop for a minute and talk about an opportunity we're going to offer to you, and I am really super duper excited about this. Mike and I sat down and said, what can we offer to Patino Nation that's different than something that I do that's got great value? I do consultations with people and have been for the last couple of years. I've probably done 450 consultations with people. This is different than every one I've ever done. And I've added some value and priced it that I think is just you can't pass it up. And basically what you get for your $250. And I'll only do 6 to 8 of these a week because I got my other business, the other part of LinkedIn that I do. So the limited supply is I do a 1-hour screen share with you. And that screen share will be reviewing my complete critique of your profile that you'll receive several days before with a red pen, just like a good school teacher would always do. And you will go, oh, there's all kinds of red on my profile. Yes, there is, because I'm trying to help you. So you'll get all that stuff ahead of time. I'll mark up your profile, and then we'll spend some of the time on your profile, but we're also going to spend time on your LinkedIn activities. We're going to do searches. We're going to talk about scripting people. What are you going to say to these people? Should you talk to them on LinkedIn? Should you not? You name it, we're going to cover your exact strategy. Then, I'm going to record that video the whole time. So you'll be able to slow down, pause me, redo whatever you didn't take enough notes on. And this is rare, might twist my arm for this one. I said, I would be willing also to give you post-email feedback, but it's your job to get a hold of me and say, I'm all done, Wayne. What do you think? Give me a one more hit, doctor. And then I'll email you back and give you one more email and say, I think you did this great. I think you need a little bit more work on this. And boy, he twisted my arm for that one, but I think you'll just love that part. And then the last thing, and this is really going to be fun. I've never done this before, to where we actually now have a group of people who are our special folks who get to come together 4 times a year and pick my brain. I give you the new things going on LinkedIn because we know every quarter there's going to be new things. And you get a chance to be part of this smaller group of people that get this sort of extra attention. And I really look forward to that because I like nothing better than a Q&A. So you'll get information about how to actually sign up for this when we, with the emails that you'll receive after the event and when you get the link. Please don't dawdle because you'll find yourself into February or March because like I said, I have limited time to do, but I also have some weekend time for you. I got some Saturdays and some nights for those of you who are working folks. I get that. My wife goes, you're going to work again tonight? I said, listen, I can help somebody from England or Paris. I did a guy from Paris. I'm going to do it, right? So I've added some weekend times and some nighttime to help those within different time zones. So please, enough of this, but I think you're going to just love this opportunity. Everybody loves the feedback they get, and it's your time to finally get serious about where you're at. Okay. About your profile. We're going to start up by what are you going to do to keyword and optimize your profile? And I'm giving away some of my consulting stuff here. So, well, I guess that's okay. I'm going to give away some of the things that we'll do in our consultation. Okay. So, and these are things you should do like soon. Get these changes in place. Number 1 strategy for your LinkedIn profile is your profile is written for a target audience. I cannot say enough that people's profiles tend to not be written for their target audience. They tend to be written for the last audience or the last time you switched your job and you're not thinking it through. And for example, if you were a job seeker and now you're working, your profile's got to change a little bit because it's not going to have those kind of, like the other day, I had a salesperson that was unbelievable. He went on a consultation. He said he wanted me to help him sell more using LinkedIn. I look at his profile and he's got a statement like this. I'm the #1 gross profit producer in the last 10 years in my company. Number one. And I said, I thought you said this call was about selling more. Oh, it is, Wayne. And I said, read that statement. Do your prospects want to read that? Do your prospects want to think that you are the best guy at generating gross profit and they're going to get in line to be the other half of gross profit is guess what? So see how silly that is? Where we haven't thought through our audience. What's up? Where are we trying to go? So think about that. And now underneath that major overall strategy is this. Lots of keywords in the right places and really good stories about yourself that encourage your target audience to connect with you and ultimately talk to you. I don't have time to go through the keywords in a lot of detail, but the search engine loves you putting certain keywords in 3 hotspots. And now the other thing, here's your worksheet. This is your worksheet for keyword optimization. 3 hotspots that the search engine likes. And I can tell you, LinkedIn doesn't tell us this stuff. It comes about because I do 10 or 5 or 6 8 of these a week. And then I'm also working with my corporate clients. So I probably test 15 profiles a week to see how can we move them up in the search. Here's the thing. Once you've defined the keywords that are important to you, I hope you can figure that out. Basically, for a consulting person, it's the words that they would Google you for your products and services. And for a job seeker, it's the skills that you have and the titles you have, because that's what the HR people are going to use. In general, that's what you're going to do. Those are the words. Where do they go? They got to go on your headline. They got to go on your job titles, and they got to go in your skills section. They're good everywhere. But boy, oh boy, my friends, if I look at a profile during a consultation and I don't see that you've got your most important keywords in those 3 spots, chances are you are not showing up on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're on page 125, and guess what? There's nobody seeing your profile. The search algorithm gives favor to certain spots, and those are the 3 spots. This worksheet, these 2 worksheets that I'm giving you today, so funny. I work up these worksheets usually for my corporate events. And then I decide when I can start sharing with the public. I'll never forget the time I built this worksheet. And my wife is my editor. Many of you know that. You've heard me talk about my wife all the time and how she's my partner in the business. When I built this keyword worksheet, she told me, you're not going to give that keyword worksheet away. You're not going to put it on our website for free. And I said, honey, they so need this information. She said, we could sell that worksheet. I'm sure of it. And I said, I know it. But can I override you this time around? This one's too important. I'll give you the next one. Okay, so this is a worksheet that has so much value, my friends. Take it, work with it, and then when we do our consultation, we'll see how good you did. All right, so keyword optimization. Now, when it comes to the storytelling component of your profile, and I'm going to go to my profile, the storytelling component, some tips for you there. And a lot of people go, wait, where's the box for storytelling? The box for storytelling is everywhere. Things like this, the banner. There's a story in the banner. If you're a consultant, you should have a banner like mine. You should have a banner, so there's my contact information. Here's what I do. And if you got a book, you should top that. If you're a speaker, maybe you have a picture of you speaking. The bottom line is that banner can be all you need if it's done right. Where else are stories told? Stories are told throughout your profile in this media section. Like, look how you can now place media underneath your summary. And media are either links to websites or uploaded files. I suggest everybody 2 pieces of media in your summary and 2 pieces of media that sit in your current job entry. And those medias should be additional information to tell your company story or your job seeking story so that people are going to say, wow, I better talk to her or him, right? It's a way to put, besides words, other things they should look at or download or read or watch or whatever. The media ad portion of LinkedIn is a treasure. And if I were LinkedIn, and don't tell them I said this, I'd make that a premium feature. I'm sorry. If I were trying to make money on LinkedIn, I'd make that a premium feature. It's not, my friends. There's nothing on your profile that's premium. So take advantage of the media. Okay, now here's another tip that I think you guys are going to love. This is an inside tip for job seekers. Catch this. And I'm going to go to Elaine's profile. She's a client of mine, and just show you what Elaine did. I think it was genius. She's got 19 or 20 recommendations down in the bottom, and LinkedIn only displays 2. So what she did, and I think this is a great strategy, she went through all the recommendations and she grabbed the quotes, the best quote from all the recommendations that are buried that nobody's going to read. I've had HR people say, Wayne, that is the meatiest part. That is wonderful. And if you expect people to go down to the bottom where only your last 2 recommendations display and then click see more, we hate clicking see more. We're lazy. You got to give people that sitting on their profile. I mean, that jumps out and says, oh my gosh, these people are saying this about her. And now if you don't have those as recommendations on LinkedIn, you're carrying around an old crumbled up PDF or a piece of paper, you can grab the same quote and put it here. What's this? Storytelling. Who's telling the story? Somebody else. Is that better than you telling your story? Heck yes, right? So storytelling, this is a wonderful strategy. And these are the kind of strategies that I'm going to help you with when we have a consultation. You know, today I'm giving you some of these details in the time that we have, but some of the stuff I just got to fly over because we're running out of time and your situation is different than somebody else's. So, but these are the kind of techniques that I'll say, you don't have enough good stories. And I see you got wonderful recommendations, or let's say you got no recommendations. That's a strategy that we got to talk about to begin with. Okay. One more thing about the profile, and then I'm going to have to move on, but it's this one. Oh my gosh, my friends, if you have not sat down and thought through this section, skills and endorsements, and I'm going to go back to my profile so it can actually show you how to do this. We're going to go into a how-to mode because it's not easy. It's clunky and it's confusing. I'm going to get rid of the confusion. The search engine loves this section. Why does the search engine love this section? Because it is a spot where you can just put words and phrases and skills in without having to put sentences around them. So the search engine is assuming that you know what your skills are and you've laid them in here. And number 2, the search engine is also respects the fact that you know you should put these in the right order. What? I can put these in the right order? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. This was not available as a feature on LinkedIn when skills and endorsements came out 7 years ago. This is a fairly new feature, I would say a year-ish or so. And if you hit the pencil on your skill section, this is a fairly new box that pops up with unbelievable instructions from LinkedIn. Now, let's just sit back for a second. The part I just highlighted, have we ever seen instructions this clear from LinkedIn on how to do something? I don't know about you, but I do this for a living. And they try to make everything magical and the instructions stink. Well, guess what? When this box popped open, they were real clear here. With my little antenna, I'm not the brightest guy around, but I'll tell you, my antenna broke through my ceiling and said, listen up, my friends. Part of the algorithm works on you understanding that you need to pin them to the top using the blue push pin, and you need to rearrange the rest of them, or they wouldn't have gone through all the programming that it takes to do this kind of stuff. And remember this, especially you job seekers, the recruiters and the HR people and the hiring executives, many of them are on what's called the recruiter. They can rearrange those big lists of people by things like who has the most endorsement for a certain skill. Yes, they can. And they'll go, and the search engine optimization assumes that you know that these need to be pinned into the right order. So I'm telling you, I'm going to give you the question that I write on almost every consulting event that I do, right on the profile. I mean, I think I probably have the 400 I've done 3 people that I didn't write this on. When you get done with this section, can you answer these questions correctly? Here they are. Number 1, are these your most important going forward keywords or skills? Got that? And you should say, yeah, Wayne, they're the one. That's it. And are they pinned? And have you rearranged the rest of them? Got it? If you can answer that, yes, 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 you are good to go. Okay, my friends, I hate to say it, I got to move away from the profile because in just the remaining time, I got to go through these last couple of things because they are really good too. Okay, so I'm going to close out of my profile and we're going to cover the last 2 topics. And I hope you're getting your questions in because I love the question part. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, next thing I want to make sure that you get, and this is a little bit just for the job seekers or the people who are need to maybe upgrade where they are at their job, is what things should you be doing with this jobs tab? And the jobs tab is the briefcase. When you click the briefcase, what are the best practices? Starting with this, have you set all your career interests? When was the last time that you reviewed your career interests? Or have you never gone into this tab? This is such an important tab. I call this this is your contract with the hiring executive. That's what it is. It's the questions that they can search and filter by that you have basically given the roadmap to what your next career move is. Okay, what your next career move is. So you got to fill this out. One of the deficiencies that I see often in my consultations is this one. What job titles are you considering? Oh, I'm considering CFO. Okay, that's great. CFO should be in there. What else? Oh, I said CFO, Wayne. Hold it. There are other words for CFO, aren't there? Depending on the company size, blah, blah, blah. VP of Finance, you know. Think through what other titles that somebody might use, okay? So set your career interests, critically important. LinkedIn assumes you've already done this. The hiring executives really assume you've already done this. Next thing I want you to do, I want you to do a search for a job. And I think I got one up here. Here we go. So I did a search for CFO in the Milwaukee area. And you do that once you're on the jobs tab. You just put CFO in the title box. Then you put the city. And then you can hit any of the search filters you want to tighten it down by. Once you have done a search and you go, Wayne, this is the search, my friend. It's perfect. Good. Then don't always have to come in here to get the new information. Be sure to click create a search alert. On free LinkedIn, you get to be able to set up 10 different search alerts so that every day, and I would always pick every day, LinkedIn will send you when the 34th job shows up that meets your search criteria. We all love set it and forget it. Make sure you set these and forget them so that LinkedIn, and so you'd set one up for CFO and you set one up for VP of Finance, and you can set them up with different cities and so on, in different industries and all the filters that are available. Make sure the search alerts are working for you. Okay, so one more thing while we're in this job post section, and then we are gonna be launching into questions real quick here, my friends. When you look at a job post, and this is fairly new, we'll look at this one here that's up on the screen. When you're searching for keywords, and that's critical because one of the things that's changed in the last 3-4 years is that most companies use an applicant tracking system. That means they got a robot that's going to go through all 400 resumes, not a person touching them, and kick out the best 15. What are they basing it on? Keywords. And in your job posting is the keywords. I find this part so funny. When I work with people, I go, so what do you think your job searching keywords are? And I go, I don't know, my title. Yeah, your title. But what about other things? Well, I'm really good at Sarbanes-Oxley. Oh, sounds like a keyword to me. Sounds like something that an HR person or a recruiter would search for CFO plus Sarbanes-Oxley, right? So that's a keyword. Sarbanes-Oxley written out and SOX. Both should be in your keyword strategy on LinkedIn. So your keywords typically always go past just the title. They tend to be other detail that the job poster has put here. And when I ask people, I said, well, you should know your keywords as a job seeker. And they go, well, why do you think it's so easy, Wayne? Because it's right here. What do you mean it's right here? It's in the job posting. Well, where is it? It's right in here because let's face it. Who wrote this job posting? HR? Who does the searching on LinkedIn? HR? So the words are here. Now, what's starting to happen, I'm sort of excited about this, is at the bottom of some job posts, LinkedIn is starting to show how do you match. They're basically giving you a tip-off of the robot. And look who put this criteria together. The job poster. So the exact person at the company decided they were going to drop in these words that better be in your what section? Skills. So I'm so happy that LinkedIn is starting to give us these things, and the companies are starting to go, these are the words that are important to us, so that it isn't this guessing game that we're all confused by. Because as we all know, and I'm 61 years old, the job search has changed. I mean, hello. I know you want it to be like the old days when you went to the Walgreens on Saturday night and got the job app, and then you came home on Sunday after church and typed away, and then it's Monday morning, you were the first person in line at the post office. You go, I did it, I'm first. I know I'll be on their desk before anybody else. That's what it was. It was a level playing field, wasn't it? It was a level playing field because everybody got the newspaper and then everybody did this. It's not a level playing field anymore. It's things like LinkedIn. It's things like you going to look at companies you're interested in and finding the decision maker and sending a connection request to them and introducing yourself even before the job's posted or for sure after. That means that these tools and techniques are going to be used by somebody and not by other people because it's not a level playing field anymore. So my question for you as we wrap up this whole thing is, are you going to look at the things I talked about today? Consultant, job seeker, whatever your status. Are you going to look at these things I threw out at you and a certain number of you are going to go, Wayne, it was really nice. I laughed a few times. Thanks for the worksheet. Little too much work for me, my friend. Okay, then go to Walgreens on Saturday night. Good luck finding the want ads in there. I don't even think they're in there anymore, but good luck. Enjoy your typing on Sunday and see if it takes you anywhere. But meanwhile, the person that's going to get in line and just wants the exact same job will have already pinged the president, right? Already pinged the president and made a connection request and tried to meet the guy and impress them by the fact that you were assertive enough to send a connection request to the decision maker. Remember, the connect button appears for a reason, my friend. And I think if you should start thinking, if it says, instead of it just says connect, please connect Wayne. I think if you start looking at it, please connect Wayne, maybe you'll do it more often. And so as we close up the formal part of this presentation, my encouragement to you is this. The name of my book is The Power Formula for LinkedIn Success. And you know what? The power formula is this. We all have unique experiences. No two people are alike. LinkedIn is this wonderful tool where we can lay out our experiences, right? Like nowhere else. We have great experiences. Number two, we have unique relationships. Nobody's got the same relationships. And the power formula is those two things put together using a tool like LinkedIn. And I came up with the power formula, and you'll find this amusing, I think, especially those of you that might be in my space, age-wise. I taught a CEO group in the morning one day, and I drove to Whitewater where I went to college, and I did a college group in the afternoon. And I caught myself teaching those two groups differently. And that's when it dawned on me that people are in different spaces, whether you're an experienced executive or a college student. And I hear from CEOs, I don't like social media, I don't understand it, it's confusing. My kids are good at it, but I can't be. And then I hear from kids, students, they're good at the social media stuff, but guess what they don't have? Guess what? They don't have the relationships or the experience. So the whole premise of the power formula for LinkedIn success is those of us that either don't have hair or it's gray, we have those two things. LinkedIn is the tool that we can power this, whatever we're trying to do up. The students, they got to work at that. You can't build a network overnight. There's juniors in college, they're trying. You can't tell stories that are really that interesting because you're just starting on your story journey for your experience. So my encouragement to you is, you got it. You got the things that it needs. You've got the two things that most employers and customers are looking for. And LinkedIn is that tool where if you take those two things and use them the correct way on LinkedIn, let's put it this way, we're going to kick the college kids' butts a little bit. And I'm kidding. I love college kids. I love to hang out with them. But my encouragement to you this is a tool for you, and you can do this better than anybody once you get your sort of head around it. So, hey, thanks a lot. I really enjoyed the time. And now Mike and I are going to answer any questions that you might have. Thanks again for being here. If you leave during the Q&A, watch for those emails. I can't wait to spend the hour with you. I know it's going to be fruitful. I know that you're going to just be blown away by the information we're going to work on together in that call. So please make sure you're early in that list to sign up so we can get this fixed for you before the end of the year or shortly into the new year. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everybody, if I don't say that on the tail end. Let's do some questions, Mike.
Excellent. Thanks, Wayne. I sure wish you brought more energy and had more fun.
I'm going to try harder next time, Mike.
To LinkedIn.
A little more caffeine.
Somebody has so much fun with LinkedIn. We have about 1,000. We have just a lot of questions. So I'm just going to pick a few. Wayne, what are your thoughts on free LinkedIn, which was, I believe, what you were showing everybody today, versus the premium version of LinkedIn, and then even further yet, Sales Navigator?
So I think they all serve a purpose. The good news is 80% of the world is still on free, and it is a heck of a tool. And I think most people will be just fine on free. I think the one thing that tends to be the reason you have to move to a premium account is the search limitations. And career premium, which is the cheapest premium, will not get you past search limitations. So what that means, in case you've never run it, when you start doing those filtered searches that we showed at the very beginning, LinkedIn's keeping track of how many times you're doing that. And if you do that more than they think you should for free, they're going to try to shut you down a little bit. So it's usually that technique, Mike, that causes people to go, Wayne, I might have to upgrade. Well, you might just have to. Now, moving from into Sales Navigator, on the other hand, we're talking about a real big time workhorse there. Now, it starts at $80 a month. It goes up to $125 So it's not for those people who are just, well, let's just join Sales Navigator, but it is one heck of a sales tool. So if you are a salesperson who works LinkedIn hard, or maybe wants to start working LinkedIn hard, my suggestion is work free LinkedIn until you run into what I call the free walls, and your head gets banged enough against the free wall that you got to pull your credit card out, and Sales Navigator could be one of your choices. I do love my Sales Navigator.
Yeah, we use Sales Navigator at Patina for our professional sales force. I'm of the opinion that LinkedIn is the greatest sales support and resource tool ever invented. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
I appreciate that.
Wayne, there's several questions around the recommendations stuff that you talked about. So one of the questions was, I think you talked about where to put those. Can you just clarify, where do you put those recommendations, in your opinion, if they're not sitting at the bottom and there's such a limit to those? Where should they put them?
First I would start by making sure I did get them in the bottom, right? So ask your friend to write one and put it on LinkedIn, because then it'll always be there. Once they're in there, or if you got it on a piece of paper because it's a person who's not even on LinkedIn, maybe somebody who's retired or whatever, then my suggestion is grab the best quote, place it in the job entry that it applies to, always near the bottom of your 2,000 characters. And that's the beauty of LinkedIn versus your resume. You wouldn't have room on your resume for that. We have 2,000 characters for every job entry. That's why the space is there.
How many recommendations do you think you want to include before you think it's too much? Is it one per job, or is it just?
Well, I love that. I would love to look at all your job entries and have a quote or two for each one. That'd be really nice. But think about this. Let's say you're head and you're down to one of the last two candidates in the job search. And I look at yours and you got 12, and somebody looks at mine and I got 212. And I'm not saying that's the tipping point, but you may find that somebody says, listen, this dude knows what he's doing a lot more than and you don't know what the tipping point was. I'd definitely rather look at somebody who has a lot more recommendations than somebody who doesn't have very many.
Yeah, it sounds like, they're taking it seriously. They've reached out. One question was just, are the recommendations really validated? So how important are they? It's sort of like TripAdvisor. We see some of these reviews and, how do we know the competitor didn't write? Any thoughts on that?
So, everybody knows that, that's the landscape. Would I like to find a verification way? Oh, sure, but that's not going to happen because LinkedIn or TripAdvisor, they're going to hire enough auditors to figure this stuff out. So the bottom line is there'll be some of that fluff in there or maybe some of that. But I'll tell you what, if you help your recommender write a recommendation in a way that it's specific about accomplishments and things, and it's not just he was a great guy and a great, followed through. If it says he did this and the numbers and stuff, you can't fluff that. So the more specific it is, the more it makes sense. So, I think that's just the whole part about verification is, that's not how this stuff works. And it's probably never going to work in that respect.
Yep. Okay, very good. If I see an opportunity on LinkedIn that would benefit a friend of mine, sounds like the old, hey, I'm asking for a friend thing. But if I see one that would benefit a friend, how can I track this without keeping a manual list? Is there any way to see? It must be like if there's a job opportunity they think would be great for their friend.
Yeah. There's no place on LinkedIn to sort of, you can save job postings, I think. So you might be able to, there might be a job save posting section in the job section. You can share it. Yes, there's a share button, so you could do that. I don't know if it would then keep track of everyone who you shared with, and you could follow up and that kind of thing. I think you're probably even better off with a manual system anyway, because let's face it, whether it's a manual system or a spreadsheet, when we type or make a copy or put it in a file, we tend to have a little more ownership sometimes because we've gone through that manual step kind of thing.
Okay. How often do you recommend that consultants post information on LinkedIn? The blog post help with optimization.
So that's that's a wonderful question, Mike. And I wish I had better news for you on posting. Now, and the reason I say I wish I had better news is because the algorithm for the feed itself is a little bit messy right now. And I think I'm finding most people are finding the feed is not very helpful to them because it's loaded with, let's call it junk, and people they're not really interested in. And that's frustrating, and it's frustrating to a lot of people these days. So the feed itself, if you're hoping that when you post, you're going to get a lot of information, a lot of pings and engagement just because you post, you might. The bigger the network, the better. But here's the thing. I do like posting and sharing and blogging and using the publishing because at least it then shows up on the profile below your top box. So even when people are checking you out, they can check your activity with your updates and the blogs and all that stuff. So because it's a permanent part on your profile, it still gets read and viewed by people. My suggestion, if you want to get more traction on anything you're trying to post, is this. Use hashtags and tag people. Like what we did for this event, right? So when I shared this event with LinkedIn, I tagged all you guys, and then you guys engaged and thanked me. Those were all interactions that LinkedIn's algorithm likes, and then I use hashtags. So if you can help it by getting engagement and hashtags causing engagement and tagging people, your post will do a lot better, even with the current algorithm.
Okay, great. And thanks everybody for all those wonderful questions. I'm going to ask one more and then wrap it up. In the interest of staying on schedule. So Wayne, as a consultant, I'm sending a year-end letter to clients. Is it too much to send an email and LinkedIn? Seems like more executives read email, not so much maybe LinkedIn for personal messages.
That's a great question. Boy, I like that one. Here's my opinion on that. I think it's both. I think it's both because they're different inboxes, different priorities to people. And if you were to ask me, Mike, if you would have said, which one's better? I would have said sometimes LinkedIn is even better than an email if the person looks like they're a LinkedIn user. And the reason I say that is because when you message people on LinkedIn, it lands in an inbox of LinkedIn that's not very busy. And it pings them over in their Gmail and says, you got a message, shows up 2 places. So 2 times they might find it. And since this email is not, the LinkedIn inbox is not very busy, they got to at least delete it. Right. So I would do all 3. Now I probably wouldn't do it in the same day. Right. Stretch out those 2 I call those campaigns: email campaign, LinkedIn campaign.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all the information and knowledge. Again, I want to ask everybody to please sign up and join the membership at patinanation.com. Even if you're in the Breitbarth Nation and you're not in Patina Nation, come on over and join us. And really, that's no matter what your situation, even if it's changing. It's a community that we built for the independent consultant and executive. And it's just got fantastic resources so far, and we're really candidly just getting started. To finalize and wrap up on the exclusive, Wayne was kind enough to work with us on an exclusive package for members of Patina Nation to make sure they're really using LinkedIn to the maximum effect. And candidly, if you're out there taking it seriously to go out and do consulting, you really should be using the best tool available to sort of present yourself. In my opinion, I use LinkedIn all the time as the CEO of a growing company. So again, Wayne is great. He's going to give us a 1-hour screen. If you sign up for this, he'll give you a 1-hour screen share where he's going to discuss strategies to reach out to your audiences, how you're messaging folks, and make sure your profile is among the best. And you'll get a video recording from Wayne, a screen share of your session. He's going to give you some feedback after you've made the changes, once you tell him you're done with it. And I love this idea that we'll be executing, and that our quarterly information webinars that will feature Wayne, so we can all stay on top of the changes. LinkedIn's changing all the time. And that is only $250 if you're a member of Patina Nation. And you do have to be a member of Patina Nation to take advantage of it. So I would take it, it's, I think, a terrific value if you're serious about having a really great presence on LinkedIn. And so after you do this session with Wayne, you're going to have things like you're going to start showing up at the top of searches for the services that you provide. You're going to be able to attract and engage with people who need your products, services, or skills. You'll get decision makers to accept your connect requests. You'll attract recruiters, hiring managers, and HR professionals if you're looking to upgrade your career. You'll build trust and establish yourself as a market leader and go-to expert. And last and probably most important, you're going to explode your revenues and exceed your goals. So I really, again, want to thank Wayne for joining us today. It was an excellent program. I feel like we could have gone another hour. I got 30 questions sitting here.
Thanks, Mike. It was a blast being with you. Really enjoyed it.
And thanks to everybody who took time out to join us today at Patina Nation. Thank you.